Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa and this is Allie's Bookie Reads, my booktube channel where I do book things here at YouTube. Today I am going to be doing a tag video. This is a tag that Kate at Chapters Kate, that is CVIII as in the Roman numerals, started and tagged me in on Twitter, and I am a VeggieTales grown up. So I grew up listening to VeggieTales, watching the videos, singing the silly songs with Larry, the song to the show where Larry sings a silly song. And she created this hilarious tag. She asked people who watched VeggieTales when they were younger. I liked it, so she tagged me in this, and I look forward to doing it. I think that it is a hilarious and original tag. And let's start. The first song is Water Buffalo. The question is, name a book that everyone loves. For this one, I have to go with Where the Crawdads Sang by Delia Owens. Everybody in my life has recommended this to me, whether that be my coworkers. Actually, one of my old coworkers recommended this to me. Everybody's saying, you must read this. It is the best read of any year that you read. Sit down, you'll cry. And I just haven't. My library has no copies. I mean, they have copies, but they're all checked out. I'm like 30th on the wait list. I'm never gonna get my hands on this book. I'm trying not to buy books in 2019. Only my most anticipated reads. I have a list of books that I am anticipating for the year, and this obviously isn't on the list because it didn't come out this year, and I'm just up a creek. So we'll get to that one at some point, sometime in the future, maybe. Next is Where Is My Hairbrush? I sing this song when I lose anything. Doesn't have to be my hairbrush, but I ask where my hairbrush is. If I'm missing my phone, oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where, 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 oh, where is my hairbrush? I hope you enjoyed that beautiful rendition of the song. The question is, a hidden gem that I've loved, but no one seems to be talking about. And for this one, I have Needful Things by Stephen King. Now, obviously, everybody talks about Stephen King. Everybody knows Stephen King. Everybody's heard of Stephen King. But this book, I've not heard anybody talk about. Books and Lala was the one who talked about it on her channel, and she is the only one I've heard talk about this, and it is my favorite Stephen King book. This is about a shop that knows what you want to buy. Somehow, you walk in, if you're looking for an Elvis painting, not only is there an Elvis painting, but that Elvis painting will take you into the world of Elvis. You will be able to fall in love with Elvis, and it doesn't cost you anything. You pay what you can pay until later, and that's the horror aspect of it. Turns the town into turmoil, turns the town upside down. There's a supernatural element. It's very good. I don't know why this isn't on the list of everybody's favorite Stephen King book, because it is so good. This is 800 pages, and I finished it in a weekend. So good. Next up is The Cheeseburger Song, and this is a book that you were excited for on release day but haven't read yet. For that one I have Tip of the Iceberg by Mark Adams. Mark Adams does travel literary writing, and I have read his book about Machu Picchu. It made me want to go to Machu Picchu. I am extremely interested in Alaska, even though I live in the United States, and most people don't consider the U.S. traveling, like going around the U.S. and going to different states. I want to travel to Alaska. It is the place that most intrigues me, really, pretty much in the world, which, call me inexperienced, call me naive, I don't care. I'm so interested in Alaska, and this book is about his travels to Alaska, and I bought it brand new. Clearly it's a hardcover. I wanted to read it, and I never got around to it. So hopefully that's something that I'll pick up soon, because I was really excited for it at one time, and I still am really excited for it. I love Alaska. I'm really interested in it, so that will be coming soon. I will be reading that soon. Next is The Dance of the Cucumber, and this is name a book that you've read that has been translated from another language. And for this one, I picked a few books, but one author. I picked Frederick Bachman, who wrote my favorite book, A Man Called Ove, but I have that one loaned out to a friend right now, so I don't have it to show. But I have Britt Marie was here. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. Fairtown, and the sequel, Us Against You. And all of these are translated from Swedish, And the translations are incredible. They're so good. And Frederick Bachman is an amazing author, and he writes believable characters with hard topics. He writes about old people. I love old people. I'm going to continue telling you I love old people. But these are all translated. I cannot wait for him to release another one. I've also read his short stories. I read The Deal of a Lifetime, which is about Christmas, and something about In the Way Home Gets Even Longer Every Time or something like that. Both of them are good. His long form stories are my favorite, but the short stories were obviously still very good. The next question is, or the next song is I Love My Lips. And this is name a song that you've talked about in at least 5 other videos, or name a book you've talked about in at least 5 other videos. Well, I don't have 5 other videos, so I'm going to do a book that I can't stop talking about to anybody who will listen to me, and that is 2 books. The first one being The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, and the second one being Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Both of these books, I have them right here. Both of these books are historical fiction, but they are so good. And for the most part, I really mostly enjoy historical fiction about World War II, which The Nightingale is. But The Great Alone was about Alaska. Shocker, huh? But it was historical fiction, and it was so good. And I talk about these books to everybody who will listen. I recommend these books to everybody who will listen. The other book that I recommend most often would be Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because I think that is a book that is universally liked across no matter what genre you like, no matter what authors you like, no matter what you've read in the past that you've liked, no matter whether you hate books. That is the book I recommend to everybody because it's that good. The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. This is a book that went differently than how you expected it to go. And for this one, I picked Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Now, when I picked up this book, and the way this book was touted was that it was a thriller. And it kind of was, but it was a sci-fi thriller. And I don't read sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi. I don't care about sci-fi. But I liked this book. Boy, was this good. Boy, will I read anything else by Blake Crouch. He has a new release called Recursion that I hope to read sometime soon because I loved this. I thought this was amazing. He took a concept that was so hard to grasp and did so much research about it and made it in a way that was readable to people who had no idea about anything science. But definitely not what I was expecting. Definitely ended up loving it though. Next up is Barbara Manatee, and this is a weird book that you still love. For this one I'm doing My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is an obviously extremely weird book. It is a movie in book form. It is literally an exorcism. An exorcism plays out on these pages. It's weird. I love it. It's great. I love Grady Hendrix. I have read now this and Horror Store, which is it looks like an IKEA catalog, and it's about ghosts that infiltrate an IKEA essentially, but not IKEA because trademarks. And I read a book about called Paperbacks from Hell, about the paperback boom era of the 70s and 80s, and I really liked that too. So everything that he writes I will read. I have We Sold Our Souls. I haven't read it yet, but it is definitely something that I'll be picking up soon because I love this author and he's weird and I like that. I dig that about him. Next is I'm So Blue. Name a book that made you emotional. Now for this one, I may get judged for my pick, but I'm going to explain why it made me emotional. And I picked The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now this is YA. It is very frou-frou. It is very light. And it is manufactured in a way that is supposed to make you cry. But that's not why it made me cry. I don't typically cry from manufactured sadness. I read this book during an extremely hard time in my life. And I had just ended a relationship that I thought was going to be my forever and always. And there was a line that said, "Forever is a promise. You don't just break your promises." And for some reason that felt really deep to, 20-year-old me. And now thinking back on it, it feels pretty ridiculous. And clearly I wasn't going to marry the person that I fell in love with when I was 18. That just doesn't really happen. And I'm glad that it didn't happen. I really am happy with the person that I ended up with. He's absolutely perfect for me. But it really hit me hard when I was going through that. My emotions were raw. That promises are forever and you can't break promises. That really stuck with me. And So that made me emotional when I read it. I don't typically cry when I read, so that was the one time that I think I did. Next is the Stuff Mart wrap. This is Name Your Book Buying Weakness. This would be anything Stephen King. I've pretty much rented out my collection. I think I have almost everything by him. There are a couple that I still don't have. Mainly his short stories, because I don't feel like that is worth my money purchasing. Next is a beautiful cover. I'm a cover buyer. If you don't have a pretty cover, I'm frankly probably not attracted to your book. I'm going to have to find it elsewhere, either by a recommendation or probably just by a recommendation, somebody recommending it to me. Because if it's an ugly cover, I'm frankly not going to buy it or pick it up at the library. And lastly, I will pick up pretty much any thriller. I like thrillers a lot. And if you have written a thriller, I'm probably likely to pick it up if I see it. So thank you so much for coming to my channel and watching. If you want to do this tag, go ahead and do it. I don't know a lot of booktubers personally. I'm not just gonna shout out my favorite booktubers probably for this one, but go ahead and do this video, tag me in it so I can watch it. I know Chapters Kate would love if you did that too, because this is an original tag from her. Her information is linked down below in the description. Go ahead and give her a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye!